those listening on the radio, you're welcome. Ted Owen, happy Father's Day. We will. That one was just for you, though. I thought you were going to say the good news is the choir and Debbie take requests. The bad news is they took my request, but that's all right, too. You're an exceptionally good sport, Debbie. We're reading today, first of all, you need to know that this is Trinity Sunday. The Trinity is a doctrine that has developed over the course of millennia, really, in the life of the church. This is my least favorite day in all the days that I preach, because what do we say about the Trinity? Everybody understands it, and nobody understands it. It's a mystery that we cannot comprehend, yet here we are preaching to help you comprehend it. Doesn't make any sense to me, so we'll see how we do today. I'm going to take a little different take on it, and I'm going to be preaching on Proverbs 8, which is a text that has some controversy attached to it, but we'll be fine. So, Proverbs 8, starting at the first verse. Does not wisdom call, and does not understanding raise her voice? On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads, she takes her stand. Beside the gates, in front of the town, at the entrance of the portals, she cries out. To you, O people, I call, and my cry is to all that live. The Lord created me, the beginning of his work, at the first of his acts of long ago. Ages ago I was set up, at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water. Before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills I was brought forth. When he had not yet made the earth and fields, or the world's first bits of soil. When Yahweh established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above. When he established the fountains of the deep. When he assigned to the sea its limit so that the waters might not transgress his command. When he marked out the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside him like a master worker. And I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world, and delighting in the human race. And from the book of Psalms, also the 8th chapter, hear this as we hear the words in celebration of God our Creator. O Lord, our sovereign, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. Out of the mouths of babes and infants, you have founded a bulwark because of your foes, to silence the enemy and the avenger. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you have established. What are human beings that you are mindful of us, mortals that you care for us? Yet you have made us a little lower than God and crowned us with glory and honor. You have given us dominion over the works of your hands, and you have put all things under our feet, all sheep and oxen, and also the beasts of the field, the birds of the air and the fish of the sea, whatever passes along the paths of the seas. O Lord, our sovereign, how majestic is your name in all the earth. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So we'll talk some today about wisdom, and I thought to begin with we would enjoy some quirks of conventional wisdom. This is from a book called God's Little Instruction Book, a book in which A genius who is now wealthy beyond all measure took interviews and conversations he had had with children and wrote them down. And they became a bestseller. It's almost like when I worked at the toy store and would go, I thought of that years ago. Why didn't I patent it? So here's a few of these. A marriage may be made in heaven, but the maintenance must be done on earth. That's pretty good. When God measures a man, he puts the tape around the heart instead of the head. The grass may look greener on the other side, but it still has to be mowed. Patience is the ability to keep your motor idling when you feel like stripping your gears. He who is waiting for something to turn up might start with his own shirt sleeves. Ooh. Remember the banana. When he left the bunch, he got skinned. This, of course, Ben Franklin, it's better to be silent and considered a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Many a good man has failed because he had his wishbone where his backbone should have been. This is a special one for those of you on Father's Day. If at first you don't succeed, try reading the instructions. Boo, boo. The plumber says boo. Thanks. Yes, I love this one. It is quite difficult to baptize cats. Patience is a quality you admire in the driver behind you and score in the one ahead of you. Scorn in the one ahead of you, excuse me. Let's see, let's find one more here. This is nice. A person's true character is revealed in what he does when no one is watching. Right? These are quirks of conventional wisdom. But today we really want to talk about spiritual wisdom. What is the difference between these kind of quips or quotes or adages that we carry around with us from Farmer John's Almanac or from Grandma's rocking chair, and spiritual wisdom, that which really comes and envelops us and moves our spirit and moves us towards something greater and wiser and more sage, and I think scriptures would say more godlike in our relationship with the triune God. So today we see the book of Proverbs, the 8th chapter, where there is this conversation with Lady Wisdom. And scholars, I will tell you, are in some debate about whether or not Lady Wisdom is intended to be the personification of wisdom, or is she really supposed to be one of the figures of the Godhead? It is nice to think about her as one of the figures of the Godhead, because then we get a feminine image to go along with Father, Son, right? And wisdom. It has its advantages. It comes from this text where they talk about, can we pull this back a little? What are we doing here? It comes from this text where we hear today that wisdom was with Yahweh in the very beginning. When all was created, wisdom was there. Now, regardless of what one thinks about whether or not this is intended to be part of the Godhead or part of wisdom personified so we might grasp on to this concept better, know that there are a couple of things that are really important for us to realize about Lady Wisdom. Lady Wisdom delights in human beings. Lady Wisdom loves us. Lady Wisdom dances with us. Lady Wisdom rejoices in us. Lady Wisdom is happy to see us. Lady Wisdom is the person that you see in the narthex every Sunday. He goes, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And Lady Wisdom is the one who joins together, if we claim that she is part of the Godhead, joins together with the other parts of the Trinity to dance and celebrate and rejoice. One of the things that I read about preaching this text says that one of the ways to do it is to create a creative writing experience out of it. Talk about what it's like to meet Lady Wisdom where you go. Let's see how I did. I went to Center Market yesterday, and whom did I run into? Lady Wisdom. Yeah, she was there. She called me over and we began talking, Wisdom and I. Then I went down the street just a ways to the federal courthouse, and she was there again, making a plea for justice in some dingy courtroom where somebody had just been unjustly accused. After that, I had to stop by the Woodsdale School, but she had gotten there before me, calling for students and teachers alike to seek truth. Then I went for a walk in the neighborhood. Was walking and thinking and enjoying my dog and quietly meditating. And Wisdom snuck up on me and said, "Now that we are alone, I have something I want to share with you, a present I want you to enjoy. You know, I have been around a long time, really before the beginning of time, and I've been whirling and dancing with God all along. I am God's delight, laughing and playing. I want you to know the lightness of spirit and gladness that come when you welcome me. Will you set aside those thoughts, words, and deeds and make life heavy and sad for you and others? Will you come and laugh and play with me? Will you come and dance with me? Will you?" You hear in our time of prayer, Jess McHenry has had a serious auto accident. He blacked out and hit a road paving truck. He is surprisingly healthy given what could have resulted there, but they don't know why he blacked out, and they're looking. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that when I went to see him, he said to me one of the highest compliments I've had here at Vance. He said, "You know, the enthusiasm in that place is like I've never seen before in my whole life." And then he said, "And it's really nice." It's really nice. It's really nice that we want to spend time together. It's really nice that I have to come in here after worship is done and say to you, "Make sure you lock the door and turn the lights out because I'm going home." It's really nice that I had to check with Hargle Road to figure out how long we had rented the shelter last week because people wanted to stick around all afternoon. Those are the things that Lady Wisdom brings to us, that joy in being together, the opportunity to come together and to dance and to celebrate and to have fun Listen, a traditional church with spirit is a place where we can worship in a style we know and still have a good time. That is Lady Wisdom being here with us. That is spiritual wisdom rising up in the midst of the whole community. That, my friends, is what this personified wisdom calls us to do in the Proverbs text. To enjoy one another, to dance, to find joy, and to even have a little fun. Thanks be to God. Amen.